I used to think sleeping in separate beds meant one thing: your marriage was over. That's what everyone believes, right? Distance means disconnection. Separate beds means separate lives. So when I tell people that my partner and I have slept in different beds for 20 years, they usually give me that look. The "are you okay" look. The "so are you basically roommates" look. But here's the truth no one expects. Sleeping apart didn't ruin our marriage. It saved it. And if we hadn't made that decision, we probably wouldn't still be together today. The normal beginning. When we first got married, we did everything the right way. Shared bed, shared routines, shared expectations of what a marriage should look like. You know the image: falling asleep side by side, waking up together, goodnight kisses, morning cuddles. It looked perfect from the outside. But inside, it was slowly falling apart. The problem. The first issue was small, so small we laughed about it. I snored loudly. Not just a gentle rhythmic snore. No, the kind that sounds like a chainsaw fighting for its life. At first, my partner would nudge me. Turn over. Breathe differently. Stop whatever that is. We joked. We laughed. But nights turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, laughter turned into frustration. Because here's the thing no one tells you. Sleep deprivation changes everything. Real consequences. When you don't sleep well, you don't just feel tired. You become someone else. Short-tempered, irritable, emotionally fragile. Little things start feeling big. Big things start feeling unbearable. We started arguing more. Not about anything important, just small, stupid things. Who forgot to lock the door? Why the dishes weren't done? Who said what? In what tone? But those weren't the real problem. The real problem was this: we were exhausted. And when you're exhausted, love starts to feel like work. Turning point. One night, after another argument that made no sense, my partner said something that changed everything. I just want to sleep. Not I want space. Not I'm unhappy. Just I want to sleep. And that's when we realized this wasn't about love. This was about survival. The decision. The idea came up quietly, almost like a joke. What if we tried sleeping separately? We both paused, because that idea felt dangerous, like crossing an invisible line, because society tells you couples sleep together. That's what closeness looks like. That's what love looks like. So if you don't, does that mean something is broken? We were scared of the answer, but we were more scared of what was happening to us. So we tried it, just for a few nights. Immediate impact. The first night felt strange, too quiet, too empty. No shared blanket, no familiar breathing next to me. It felt wrong. But then, something unexpected happened. I slept, deeply, fully, peacefully. And the next morning, I felt like a different person. Shift in energy. We both did. For the first time in months, we weren't tired. We weren't irritated. We weren't snapping at each other over nothing. Instead, something surprising happened. We were kinder, more patient, more present, more ourselves. And that's when we realized something powerful. Rest didn't create distance. It created space for love to come back. Reframing the idea of intimacy. We had always been taught that intimacy meant proximity, sleeping next to each other, being physically close all the time. But what if that's not true? What if real intimacy isn't about sharing a bed, but about how you show up for each other when you're awake? Because once we started sleeping separately, something unexpected happened. We started choosing each other again. New dynamics. Instead of collapsing into bed exhausted and annoyed, we spent time together, intentionally, talking, laughing, connecting. And when we said goodnight, it felt meaningful again. Not routine, not automatic, but chosen. Social pressure. Of course, not everyone understood. When people found out, the questions started. Are you guys okay? Is everything normal? Is this like a temporary thing? Some people assumed the worst. Others gave unsolicited advice. Because breaking a social norm makes people uncomfortable, especially when it challenges what they believe about relationships. Internal doubts. And to be honest, sometimes we doubted ourselves too. Were we missing something? Were we slowly drifting apart without realizing it? Because when you don't follow the rules, you start questioning everything. Proof over time. But time told a different story. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And instead of growing apart, we grew stronger, more understanding, more supportive, more connected. Because we had removed the one thing that was quietly damaging us: chronic exhaustion. Deeper realization. Here's what we learned. Love doesn't look the same for everyone, and forcing your relationship into someone else's definition can slowly break it. What matters isn't what looks right from the outside. It's what works on the inside. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Sleeping separately didn't just fix our nights. It changed everything else in our marriage too. Our communication, our intimacy, even how we handled conflict. And not all of those changes were easy.